Hey folks, Scraptimon here. Well, today I am glad to share with you something like 2 weeks of my work on that heavy equipment pieces. All of them built on a custom suspension, so they have no problems driving whatsoever. Considering we have there only 2 types of suspension, let me actually demonstrate you it's in work. So if we look here, our front suspension can bend like that to avoid getting out of the ground. Yep, back suspension might have some issues, but anyways, at the end of the day, it works like a charm and can drive over almost anything. Not a big deal. I believe that this wall from 2 blocks might be a little bit of a problem for our next machine, of course, because it's built on a 3x3 suspension, but let's check that out. So we're gonna unpark it and try to... No, 2x2 is too much for this guy, so let me quickly remove 1 block size. Now we should be able to see it. Well, yeah, the same exact principle. The same exact principle, it drives like a charm over these impediments, so it's easy to get to the point. Never mind, let's go to the business and let me show you how this machine works. That's kinda excavator, and it built like a balance between being as realistic as possible, but also easy to build in a survival or stuff like that. So what do we have here? We have that bucket that built from small blocks, and guess why we need all that connectors inside and this connector on top? I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you that stuff a little bit later. Also, you're gonna need additional script, something like control, or I can't remember the name. You're gonna have a link in a description. So it allows us to bind anything to every connection that we need, and as you see, we have these nice instructions that are duplicated on the main screen in our cockpit, which says that we have a bunch of numerical buttons assigned to different parts of this arm. So why it's better than... yeah, and as you see on a panel we have only 2 things, and its ability to automatically return our cabin on its position, and parking for parking brake, nothing else, nothing more. So let me show you what it gives us. So firstly we can do some crazy stuff like that, and I mean like that, controlling several groups at the one time. Not a big deal for this machine. Oh yeah, and before actually doing something, we should deploy automatic support legs, and we can do that following this instruction again. Oh, actually, let me switch to the spectator camera to show it better. So if I press divide button on a numerical keyboard, it's gonna deploy these legs and connect to the ground. As you see, we're nice and sturdy now and can do anything we want. Our guy not gonna go anywhere. So what can we do in this case? We can go to the ground, and as you see, our drills automatically turned on. In this case, the bucket itself moves a lot slower than you're probably expecting, because you don't wanna damage the stuff while working. So there is no option to crash that stuff to the ground when you don't wanna that. And I hope that you don't wanna that anywhere. Okay, so we can collect that stuff. I mean, we can dig, and all the stuff gonna be stored at least in buffer containers. You know, initially, I was about to use only the drill storage itself, but the problem is that it's kinda small. So, yeah, that's not what we are looking for, and I end up editing 2 buffer blocks here, 2 buffer containers that help us to collect at least something. So when we're happy with the bucket and we believe that this bucket is full now, we can do something like that. We can lift it up, turn our cabin to some side, and use realistic unloading. If we hit 5, the only button that is not mentioned in this instruction, and I believe it's obvious, yeah, our ejection system gonna be turned on, and as you see, we're emptying our containers, and that's probably gonna give you some idea how we can unload this guy realistically. So let's grab a little bit more stones from this hole. Why not? Alrighty. And the most realistic way to unload this thing is to use, guess what? Yeah, hopper. So let's grab this guy and move a little bit closer to our crane. Yep, something like this should be fine. So now only the thing that we need to do is to move our guy here. Oh, and I believe that we should move it a little bit upper to not actually damage our nice machine. So now we can configure it in the right way as we want it. Yeah, maybe something like that. And turn our unloading process. So it's gonna unload it to the hopper. Yep, like that. And this is a one way to unload that stuff. I totally realize that it's gonna be not too easy, especially when you're playing solo. So what do we have here is the second option. Let's see on our container transports. We have this different variation of this little ant, and it's actually a container transport. As you see on a crane itself, now this small guy kinda mounted. So it has 2 connectors, this main one and the transport one. Both of them give an access to inside, so when it's full, you can grab one of these guys. And yeah, by the way, about these guys, as you see, they're middle driven, so yeah, sorry splits. If you ever try these guys, you will not be happy about that. But I just got too excited about this opportunity and about this ability in Space Engineers, so I built those guys on this type of suspension. Actually, we have another option, but not on this variation. Alrighty, let's talk. And by the way, if you wanna me show you how it's built and how you can build this guy or any machine with middle drive for you, let me know in the comments and I'm gonna record a video about that. So, first things first, we need to really nicely aim, because otherwise that might be a big problem, because these connectors should match, obviously, to actually get that stuff. So let me try to do that. That's not gonna be the easy deal. I wanna tell you that already. It feels like it should be alright. Okay, let's give it a spin. Okay, we a little bit further than we should be. No. No way. Alrighty, let me try to do it a little bit like that. Yep, and we end up destroying our container. Well, you know, that happens. So let me replace the container real quick. We have another type of container that's actually even harder to aim. And yeah, if you have any ideas how I can kind of center, align, or do something like that easier with these containers, let me know, because I really need that stuff. I thought about that a lot and I can't find any better solutions that I have now. So yeah, with these containers that's gonna be even harder, because it's wider. It's built from 3 or 4, can't remember, a lot of these nice new containers that we had in a latest update. And yeah, it's this guy is much more beautiful, kind of much more realistic, but it's even harder to aim. Okay, let me try to do that real quick. I hope that's gonna be possible. Okay, that feels more or less centered, more or less. So let's try do that. Why not? And what other options we have? Yeah. Okay, so far so good. Well, that kinda strange. Let me investigate that real quick. Okay, one more try. Yeah, this time it worked. So, basically, we have a little bit of automation here. I don't know why it's not worked last time, but it worked now, and it's kinda okay. So, speaking about automation, as soon as this connector is able to connect, it should be connected, and this one should be disconnected. When this vehicle sees that this connector is disconnected, it's automatically faults these pistons, retracts them. So yeah, and it helps a little bit, you know, but it doesn't help a lot. So if you have any idea how to do that simpler, let me know in the comments. I will be really grateful for that. And yeah, about my motivation. Why actually just don't place any nice simple container here and unload it with a connector? That's not too realistic. Because in real life, these excavators are not too mobile machines, and they kinda designed to be delivered to some place and do the work, and yeah, you wanna unload it somehow. So that stuff, containers like this, are pretty realistic things, and they could be delivered to the train. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that word to not spoil anything. Alrighty, let's look on these two standard ends, because we have two more options. Actually, it's the one variation of these machines, because they have just standard containers with a bunch of connectors, and they design it to actually deliver anything anywhere. But the only difference between them is the suspension, because this one is the middle driven option. Yeah, and the second one is actually, let's say, Splits is special edition. Because it's standard front drive and guy. And no, I don't like to build all-wheel drive machines because they're not realistic, they're not too fun to drive, at least for me, you know. Of course, obviously, you can easily fix that if you wanna try these machines. They are available in Steam. So all that you need to do is go here, select all these 5x5 wheels and check steering. So as you see, they start steering, and if you like to do something like this, go ahead. No problems from my side. I totally realize that it's kinda just my silly sin about not all-wheel drives, but it is like it is. Well, with that said, all the links to these machines is in the description, as well as links to needed scripts and mods. So go ahead, test them, and let me know in the comments what do you think about this crazy engineering. And the only thing that I can say is that it's much more fun to play with at least one friend, because making stuff a lot more realistic and a lot more fun when somebody trying to dig while somebody else trying to, for example, replace the container. So yeah, get that, test that, and let me know about your thoughts. See you!